Hey, Srini here. Today I'll demonstrate you a vital thing to consider when you stick sheets on your notebook. Do you see these edges which stick out of the notebook? These usually bend and tear up when the notebook is moved around in general. The torn edge looks unaesthetic. For instance, take a case of sticking an A4 sized paper on an A4 sized notebook. A small portion of the notebook's width is taken up for the binding of the pages, which gives less space for the true A4 sized sheet, and hence the exposed edge like this. The ideal solution is trimming up the protruding part of the paper. Here, I'd like to allocate a small width of 1 cm to 1.5 cm on two of the adjacent sides as shown and mark it using a pencil. It's not obligatory to assign an exact width. I did so just for my own preference. Consequently, you can use a pair of scissors to trim according to the marked lines, but this may not ensure the straightness of the cut edge, thus affecting the aesthetics. My solution is not tremendously different, it's just to use a blade to do the cutting. Important: please be careful with blades and scissors. Blades have an edge sharper than my intelligence, and our skin cells are dumb enough to let them in. Once that magic red liquid leaks out, there's no way to put it back in. Never drag a blade towards your body parts, and always keep your other hands as much away as possible from the blade. A crucial requirement is a metal ruler used to aid the blade along a straight line. I suggest you utilize a metal ruler specifically, as plastic or glass ones may get scratched and or damaged. You can now position the metal ruler and drag the blade along the drawn line to trim the paper. Make sure to hold it securely, otherwise it's possible for the ruler to move and mess up the line. I'll do the other side as well. It's best to trim both the width and the length to a slight extent for best results. Too much and your actual content may get trimmed. Now that it is done, grab your pair of scissors and cut a triangle from the four corners of your sheet. This aids in preventing the curling up of the corner. You know what I'm talking about. I'm sorry for the camera positioning. I wasn't aware that I'm doing most of the things off center. Well, you've pretty much finished it. Take your glue stick and apply glue to the sheet. I recommend applying it only on the corners or the edges and not on the center, as it would be handy later on if you'd like to remove the sheet from your notebook. If you don't want to waste writing space, you may apply glue only on the edges such that it sticks to only the margins of your notebook and your writing space is preserved. There you go. As simple as that. Here's another hint. Use the flat end of your glue stick's cap to rub on the paper once stuck so that you can spread the glue without dirtying or having them stick to your hands. If you feel uncomfortable while holding the paper in hand and applying glue, align it with the edge of the notebook and freely apply the glue. This is to make sure that if the glue stick slips out, it won't go anywhere on the notebook, as you can see here. You can observe that upon closing the notebook, the sheets do not project out like earlier and are flush within the notebook. For this specific sheet, there is a lot of unused space. Instead of scissoring it out, I'll use the blade as you may have predicted. Tip: if you are making a document, it's always useful to be aware of the space usage and the formatting of the text. Make it appropriately sized. If there is too much space left over, then you can also try fitting the same content twice on the same page. This becomes extremely helpful if you are a teacher distributing copies to your class. I'd like to trim it based on those borderlines instead of drawing one of my own. This way, I can take up less of my writing space just for sticking the worksheet, and I can use it for continuing other notes. I'm cutting the corners here as well. Keep in mind to properly rotate and align the sheet inside the notebook page. You may dispose the excess paper. Learn from my throwing skills. Okay, bye. See you. It won't go anywhere on the notebook, as you can see, like... Stupid alarm.